The second part of the basis and nature of the communion of the saints. It says all saints are united to Christ by his Spirit, by faith, by fellowship in his grace, sufferings, death, resurrection, and glory, and be united to one another in love and have communion in each other's gifts and grace, each other's gift and grace, and are obliged to the performance of such duties, public and private, so as to conduce to their mutual good, both in the inward and outward man. Wow, there's a lot of verses in there. So 1 Thessalonians 5 said, therefore encourage one another, build one another up, just as you are doing. Encourage and strengthen one another. Paul wrote in Romans 1, said, I long to see my impart some spiritual gift to strengthen you, may be mutually encouraged by each other's faith, both yours and mine. So this mutual encouragement. 1 John 3 says, by this we know love, that he laid down his life for us. We ought to lay down our lives for our brothers. Lay down our lives to our brothers. Galatians 6:10. Let us do good to everyone, especially to those who are the household of faith. So this is the deal. God does not give grace to us only, to you only, but God gives it to you and I so that you and I may share with other people. Grace doesn't stop inside you for self-consumption, because we live in a self-centered, narcissistic culture, nature. This is our nature, narcissistic and the self-centered. However, God wants us to use blessings for others. That includes our sufferings. Our sufferings does not belong to us. Sometimes that's in those sufferings meant for others. So we need to communion with the saints, means include sharing the sufferings with others as well. Sufferings communicate, and they use those sufferings for the blessings of other believers. Okay? The habits of the heart to use for others, both mutual, good, inward and outward. There's a powerful, so inwardly we strengthen. Practical example, maybe an elderly couple who needed help to come to church, or some guys genuinely jobless who need help. So all these are communication of love to one another. Okay, our attitude towards fellowship. Now the husband and wife takes vows for one another. And church members also take vow when we become members. We submit ourselves to the governance and the discipline of the church. We give ourselves to the purity and peace of the church and support the work of the church. A wonderful commitment we make to one another. Even at the time of baptism, baptismal vow, believers said we will assist the parents in the raising of the children. So we must have a high view of church membership, being in terms of obligations as well. So this is the nature of the communion of the saints to one another. How do we share and have fellowship in our love, performing love and for our mutual good edification inside and outside of one another.